9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. And oh my gosh, was this weekend absolutely wild. We got a job opening over at Westwood One. Dan Bongino is going to be leaving his syndicated radio show. A lot of people really like for a new gig. A new gig. The gig is Deputy Director of the FBI. Whew.
It's absolutely huge.
Oh, let's go. You know, you were wondering if Kash Patel was going to have the people around him to get the job done, and it certainly looks that way. Donald Trump posting on Truth Social, great news for law enforcement and American justice. Dan Bongino, a man of incredible love and passion for our country, has just been named the next Deputy Director of the FBI, the man who will be the best ever director, by the man who will be the best ever director, Kash Patel. Dan has a master's degree in psychology from CUNY and an MBA from Penn State. He was a member of the New York Police Department, New York's finest, a highly respected special agent with the United States Secret Service, and is now one of the most successful podcasters in the country, something he is willing and prepared to give up in order to serve. Working with our great new United States Attorney General Pam Bondi and Director Patel, fairness, justice, law, and order will be brought back to America, and quickly. Congratulations, Dan. And we would just like to send a congratulations to Dan from everybody here at the Cumulus family. I mean, man, are you kidding? Are you absolutely kidding me?
Yeah, that's absolutely huge.
And listen, he's going to be backing up Kash Patel, and he's had nice things to say about Kash Patel for years.
Folks, listen, I've known Kash Patel a long time. I can tell you with absolute certainty, and there are few things in life you can speak about with absolute certainty. Even if you ask a bunch of kids if they want homework, you can't say with certainty one kid's not going to go, I'll take some homework. I need to improve my math skills. Everybody's like, shut up, improve them at home on your own. Take a Khan Academy class, whatever. I can tell you with certainty that Kash Patel is there for one reason. He is there to make the FBI great again. But
that he's there to make the FBI great again. Bongino is also there to make the FBI great again. Bongino was very critical about the Russiagate hoax, very critical about Russia collusion, and he doesn't want to let that stuff go. He's not going to let that stuff go, and now he's your Deputy Director of the FBI.
But I need a favor on this. Folks, we need Kash Patel at FBI. As far as I'm concerned right now, he is the only guy who knows where the bodies are buried and can go in there and clean that mess up. We got to get Kash through. I'm going to go into that next, and I'm going to show you why.
Got to get Kash in. Kash is the only one that knows how to clean, knows where the bodies are, knows how to clean that up. You can hear the panic coming from the left. You can hear the panic from the likes of Shifty Schiff. You can hear the panic from the J6 committees. You can hear the panic from deep state agents intertwined in the FBI. It's coming. Accountability is coming. And Dan Bongino is going to be one of those guys in there that is going to help. I mean, listen, we have a two-headed beast now. Patel and Bongino. Now, there were rumors that Bongino was originally discussed to be Secret Service director. Now he's joining the FBI. Is it safe to say that the FBI is back? I mean, I want to see what kind of fruit the tree produces, but it certainly feels like the FBI is back. Also, over the weekend, Kash Patel got control of the ATF as well. What? Yeah, the ATF. You know, the agency famous for shooting a dog. What?
No, you're right.
They shoot dogs all the time.
Yeah, they do.
Have you ever seen the T-shirt?
Yeah.
Where it's like, learn your ATF hand signals, and it's like, there's a dog over there that needs to be shot. like there's a dog that needs to be shot. That dog over there needs to be shot.
That's the whole.
It's the truth.
It is.
Memes become reality. Reality becomes memes. The ATF. Are they going to continue shooting dogs? We'll find out under Kash Patel's leadership.
Hopefully, with a proper leader like Kash, we'll be okay.
Hopefully they refrain from shooting more dogs. But we'll see. FBI Director Kash Patel will be tapped to run the ATF, according to Fox News, based on the report of two unnamed sources. The Associated Press reported that Patel will be the acting director of the ATF. crediting the information to a Justice Department official. The AP, the Associated Press, who they got kicked out of the press briefing room because they keep dead naming the Gulf of America. The AP added, the Justice Department official spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss the move before it's announced publicly. White House officials didn't immediately respond to a request for comment Saturday evening. It sounds like it's true. A lot of people are reporting this as if it's true, but the ATF, they're going to have to answer to Kash Patel. The ATF went around Congress to introduce numerous regulatory gun controls during Biden's presidency. This is from Breitbart. Those controls included so-called ghost gun regulations and engaged in the business rule, which intended to expand background checks and ban a stabilizer brace for AR pistols. The regulatory actions drew the ire of American gun owners and congressional Republicans, with Rep. Eric Burleson out of Missouri emerging in November 2024 with calls to abolish the agency. I mean, listen, if you're putting Kash Patel in charge of it, it feels like it's essentially being abolished anyway and folded into the FBI. But this is wild, wild news. Steve Dettelbach, the director who oversaw the ATF's implementation of regulatory gun controls under Biden, resigned his office effective January 18th, 2025, ensuring he would leave office 2 days before Trump was sworn in. We'll see what happens with the ATF, but it seems like there's so much happening, and it's a lot of good stuff. So Kash Patel, head of the FBI, acting director of the ATF now. Hopefully they don't continue shooting dogs. Dan Bongino, deputy director of the FBI. Do you feel like we're back? I feel like we're back. It's exciting times. If you want to join the show, we're live on YouTube. You can jump in the YouTube chat. It's always jumping in our YouTube chat. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. Also, if you want to join the show in any manner, 615-737-9986. We want you to party with us coming up it's March 4th, Tuesday, March 4th, Nashville Palace. We're going to be there live, and we're going to be celebrating all of these wins. As Donald Trump addresses a joint session of Congress, Matt Murphy has made the promise that he will get a buzz cut live on stage if we have a sellout. You can get your tickets at 997WTN.com. Tickets are only like $40. Comes with a full food buffet, some drink tickets, and reserved seating. 997WTN.com. We want to see you there. And to all of our P1s that aren't there, if we don't see you there, we will call you out in the same manner that Trump has been calling out the governor of Maine. I'm just going to let you know it's going to be messy. We will call you out if you're not there. Did you see Trump versus Maine? Oh my gosh, this happened on Friday. He's simply the best to ever do it, Donald J. Trump. I don't know if we have any other leaders that could even hold a candle to what this guy's doing. So they have a gathering of all the governors in America, and Trump is addressing the room. And then he says, is the governor of Maine here, by the way? She raises her hand. Like, first mistake. And he let her know how upset he is that they're letting boys compete in high school girls' sports. And he told her to her face that you're going to lose federal funding.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine? Well, are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with the state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports.
No, nobody wants men playing in women's sports. It's an 80-20 issue. Scott Jennings laid that out a while ago, and it's so perfect. Trump is on the winning side of every 80-20 issue in this country. 80% of the country understands how ridiculous it is for men to be playing in women's sports. Then you got a radical, loud, obnoxious 20% that says, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What are you going to be doing? How are you going to check this? It's ridiculous. No, men should not be in women's sports. Trump signed the executive order banning it. Maine decided to defy the executive order. Donald Trump says, listen, you got to stop or you're going to lose your federal funding. I love how he said your population's very liberal, but I did well there. I did well. But he said, you better comply or you're losing federal funding.
So you better comply because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. and enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Oh my gosh, the absolute savage. Good, I'll see you in court. That should be a relatively easy one. And enjoy your life after politics. The absolute madman. The stones on this guy. Enjoy your life after politics. He said, enjoy your life after politics because you won't be an elected official very long.
And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
Oh, jeez. You could feel the sweat dripping down her brow as she's being called out by Donald J. Trump. I felt embarrassed for her. Now, listen, federal funding, this is a big deal for Maine. 42.27% of Maine's state revenue is provided by the federal government. Oh, that's weird. That's weird. There's rumors that after that exchange between Trump and the governor of Maine, that Maine's chief of staff for the governor's office, the chief of staff for Maine's governor, had an absolute meltdown. This has been circulating on Twitter. This is from an account called Mary Margaret Olahan, and she said she's a White House correspondent for Real Daily Wire and for the Daily Wire. She said, exclusive. Following Trump's spat with Maine's governor over men and women's sports, the governor's chief of staff just had a public meltdown and cursed out a White House official. Oh, you mad, bro? I just feel like you mad. Yeah, Alex Meyer is the name of the chief of staff. And, Alex Meyer, the White House director of intergovernmental affairs, was speaking to a group of gubernatorial chiefs of staff this morning in D.C. when Meyer told them that Maine needs to follow the law and protect men and protect women's sports. Governor Janet Mills' chief of staff, Jeremy Kennedy, exclaimed, F you, a-hole, and stormed out of the room. You mad? Mad, a little sad, a little salty. Seems that way. A spokesman for the governor of Maine denies that the chief of staff, Jeremy Kennedy, said those words, and that they say he did not engage in profanity. But I don't know. I tend to believe the unnamed reports. There are reports coming out of governors that were in the room there. And Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt told Fox News it was a little uncomfortable in the room. It was a little uncomfortable when asked about that back and forth between Trump and Governor Mills over her state's compliance with the president's executive order banning boys from girls' sports. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt says, I wasn't sure exactly what the backstory was behind the conflict there. Apparently, there had been some things that have been said on both sides. The exchange was one for the history books.
The NCAA has complied immediately, by the way. That's good. But I understand Maine. Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
I'm here.
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law.
I'm complying with state and federal laws. We're the federal law now.
Well, you better do it. You better do it because
Look at me. Look at me. I'm the captain now.
you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
The absolute savage. There's some people that are triggered over this. There was a women's track event in Boston that told a transgendered athlete, need not apply. And Maine won't be the last to do this either. Washington State, desperately trying to enter the chat. I'll bring you those stories when we get back. It's 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
3 years since the start of the Russia-Ukraine war, what President Trump is demanding for the money invested in Ukraine. Also, how police use technology to track down a guy who's allegedly been breaking into short-term rental homes in Nashville. Those stories and more coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 26 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Trump, just the best to ever do it. Don't give me a little audio, my friend.
It's on.
Oh, well, my computer's wigging out. I was going to play that clip of him, the governor of Maine again.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good. He's just unbelievable.
It's
Calls her out to her face.
so good.
You're going to lose federal funding if you keep this up. Yeah, they do need to lose some federal funding. I hope they do. There's a lot of federal funding at risk. About 42% of Maine's state revenue is brought to you by the federal government. So, yeah, I hope that they lose it. There's a lot of other states that are going to be lining up behind Maine. Massachusetts is probably one of them. But there's a trans athlete who was actually enraged after being banned from a Boston University women's track and field meet, calling it a scary precedent. Transgender collegiate athlete who dominated his female opponents in track and field expressed grievances on Saturday after Boston University notified him that he would not be allowed to compete in its invitational meet under the women's sporting category, citing President Trump's executive order. Sadie Schreiner, born Camden Schreiner, said he was barred from the competition and that it sets a scary precedent for transgender athletes moving forward. This is that person posting a video on, I think this was TikTok or no, this is Instagram, with some just really wild looking face makeup. This is what it sounds like. The complaining that this guy couldn't beat women in sports.
My name is Sadie Schreiner. I'm a trans athlete that competes in track and field, and today I was supposed to be competing in Boston University's Valentine Invitational. I paid the $120. They put me on the heat sheet. They accepted my entry, and I was perfectly ready to go and drive down to Boston just like I did a year before. Less than 24 hours before I was supposed to step on the track to compete, Boston University sent me this email claiming that the executive order barred me from competing.
Good. Yeah, this is how executive orders are supposed to work. You know, you make the executive order and then people follow the executive order.
Despite Massachusetts law, despite their own transgender policy, and despite me being an unattached athlete, they banned me without any investigation or discussion, which means that should any other woman be going to compete at Boston University for any reason, unattached or part of the school, they can simply say to you, we think you were assigned male at birth, and so we're not going to allow you to compete.
Though it wouldn't be any other woman, actually. It would just be just guys that are in woman face. He goes on to say that barring him from women's competitions sets a really scary precedent for how the future of women athletics are going to work. I don't know. Scary for who? Not scary for me, a dad with two young girls. Not scary for the women that were going to compete against that individual. Scary for who? I like the precedent it sets. Even in some of the most liberal states, sorry, it's not going to fly. Now, Maine is going to have a bit of an issue as they try to navigate these troubled waters, if you will, trying to let boys compete against girls. And I hope that Trump brings down the hammer and takes their federal funding away sooner rather than later. I did mention one other state trying to join the chat. That is Washington State. I'll tell you what they're doing when we return. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Today marks 3 years since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. President Zelensky now saying he's willing to give up his presidency. There's more on that, too.
President Trump is demanding Ukrainian President Zelensky sign a deal to pay the U.S. $500 billion, which would include the U.S. taking the rights to a vast portion of Ukraine's natural resources. Zelensky pushing back, saying Ukraine received only $100 billion in American aid, not $500 billion, and arguing the money was given by Congress as a grant, not a loan.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert reporting. A Nashville couple says they were surprised when they checked their surveillance video and it showed a group of people hitting cars in their East Nashville neighborhood, rummaging through them before running onto the next car.
The invasion of it.
And the quickness.
And
they were so fast.
They were so fast.
They knew what they were doing. You could tell they did it before. They had flashlights and they ran from car to car to car and hit all these cars within what? Just a few minutes.
John and Tamitha Boyle there telling News 2 they're working with neighbors to put together reward money so they can identify those individuals. Meantime, a 19-year-old man has been arrested for breaking into Airbnbs. Jeremiah Norton charged with breaking into the property, stealing cash, laptops, backpacks. And Metro police say in one location it appeared he broke in through the ground floor window. Norton apparently also stole a Lexus vehicle. Police say they used tracking technology for some of the items, including that car, and they all tracked to the same location on West Trinity Lane. That's where police located Norton. Starbucks laying off 1,100 corporate employees amid declining sales. The new chief executive there saying the company will also leave several hundred open positions unfilled. Starbucks says customers have been seeking cheaper coffee as inflation continues to hit Americans in the wallet. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got a heck of a party happening March 4th, 6 o'clock, Nashville Palace. That's when things really get going. Murphy's going to be down there all day doing his entire show live, but an evening with Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We're going to watch Trump address that joint session of Congress together. It's going to be our first time hanging out since the election night watch party, so it's going to be a celebration. Tickets are available, and it's about $40. You get yourself an entire buffet spread, reserved seating, drink tickets. It's a good deal, and we're going to have a blast all night long. So I want to see you there. 997WTN.com for more. You can find the link on how to get tickets and all the info. 997WTN.com. So we're seeing Trump versus Maine. That's fun. That's fun. But you get these other liberal, insane states that are just like, guys, wait up. I want to be in on this too. Washington State is one of those. And it was late last week that a Washington State school superintendent put out a bizarre video on Twitter. And I wonder why did you put this video out on Twitter? So this is the superintendent of Washington State's superintendent of public instruction. His name is Chris Reichdahl. And he had this to say about genders and the biological differences between boys and girls.
We have a civil rights framework in this state. It includes trans youth. This is a biological question. It is quite simply inaccurate to say biologically that there are only boys and there are only girls.
Oh, that's weird. That's biologically inaccurate to say that there are just boys and just girls. Okay.
There's a continuum. There is a science to this. There are children who are born intersex. There are children whose chromosomes and their hormones aren't consistent with their sex at birth. That's not a debate we're going to have today. I just want to remind you of our civil rights obligation. Our state laws make clear that students get to identify and participate in activities based on the gender in which they identify.
I love how he says, this is not a debate we're going to have today. I'm just letting you know, you stupid bigots, that you're wrong. You're so wrong, you idiots, you rednecks, you pieces of trash. Let's be honest, that's the way he feels about us by having just you know, a moderate display of pushback, right? I got a text here, 7679. Hey, brother Chris, talk about this if you could. How come we don't see any women trying to be men, trying to play in boys' sports, college, schools, even professional sports, boxing, MMA, football, basketball, soccer, ice hockey, gymnastics, swimming, track and field, etc.? Well, I think it's because we all understand the differences between men and women, and they would get destroyed. It is important to point that out, and thank you for the text, 7679. Not the only person that texted that comment, but they always say there's no difference. There's no difference. Okay, well, why don't we see the same level of females going over to boys' sports and then excelling if there's no difference? As the Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction says, there's no difference. There's no difference at all. Okay, all right. If Washington wants to disregard President Trump's executive order, I hope they lose federal funding as well. He said there's a continuum. There's a science to this. There are children who are born intersex. There are children whose hormones and whose chromosomes are not consistent with their sex at birth. That's not a debate we're going to have today. You hurled an accusation and then you don't want to debate? That's classic. And he does this all while criticizing Trump's executive order that prohibits schools from allowing boys to compete in women's sports. We had a great interview with Riley Gaines last week. You can find that on the podcast page on Apple and Spotify. But these states need to be held accountable for this, right? These girls need to be able to feel safe playing sports. And these liberals are essentially calling them liars and crybabies and saying, we don't care about you at all. We don't care one bit. Again, this is all on the heels of the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act that has already passed the House of Representatives, but hasn't gone to a Senate vote yet. It should be going to a Senate vote once we get this codified into law. things will be a bit different. Currently, as it stands right now, Washington State's high school athletes are allowed to compete based on how they identify rather than their biological sex. However, the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association is considering a proposal to create a separate open division for transgender athletes. By all means, if that's what you need to do, go do it. But we can't have boys in girls' sports, or we'll see a repeat of what we saw in Maine, where a boy who comes in 5th against the guys then goes and wins first place against the girls. Many such cases. I hope that they're held accountable as much as Maine is held accountable. It just seems like it's been Trump versus everybody. Anytime he knocks down one radical leftist, it's like two more pop up in their spot. Kathy Hochul is another one. The Kathy Hochul versus Trump stuff has been absolutely insane. Kathy Hochul wants to have congestion pricing for tolls. So originally she wanted to charge $15 for people to go through the tunnels in New York. Then she said, no, after all the pushback, we're going to save you some money. Instead of $15, we're going to only charge $9. And look at all these savings. Everybody said the toll before was $0. So Trump got involved and said congestion pricing is dead. We're shutting it down. To which Kathy Hochul came out and stood in front of a podium and said, you can't tell us what to do. We're going to sue you for the right to tax our citizens. It's a bold strategy. Again, Trump is going to pick the winning side of this one as well, because who wants to get taxed more? You know, there are some people who are lunatics that may make the argument to tax me more, Daddy, govern me harder, Daddy. But I don't see many conservatives wanting that. I don't see many Americans wanting that. Even radical liberals in New York, I'm sure, don't want to pay $9 a day to go through these tolls. So Kathy Hochul spent a lot of time over the weekend going on the talking head shows, going to friendly echo chambers, the first being CBS with Margaret Brennan. And she said of Donald Trump, you can't come in here and bully us around.
Are you Democratic governors going to start to work together on this? Is there legal pushback?
What he is doing is, they've described it as flooding the zone. They're attacking California when it comes to FEMA dollars. They're filing lawsuits in Illinois. They're going after Maine on this, and they're coming after programs that have been duly put in place in the state of New York. What they're trying to do is create this theater of all kinds of activity that is trying to be a distraction to us. And when someone floods the zone in a football game, what you need to have is the defenders be very disciplined, smart, but also stand their ground.
So is she describing herself as disciplined and very smart and standing her ground? Because, I mean, the state of New York put out a tweet that said, beep, beep, we're going to sue. And it was in response to Trump shutting down these tolls. It's like, is that the smart thing to do? I have a hard time believing Kathy Hochul is going to be the governor of New York after that next election.
And that's exactly what the governor of New York will do in cooperation with our governors. We're not going to sit idly by and let our rights be attacked. We'll work with you when there's common ground, no doubt about it. Let's build great projects and infrastructure. There's areas where we're going to work with you on immigration and getting the violent criminals off our streets. We do not dispute that. But don't think that you can just come in and bully us around and not expect a reaction from governors.
Don't bully us. Don't bully us. These Democrat governors have no problem bullying their own citizens, but when Trump returns the favor, it's a bit of an issue. Now, on the grounds of the toll, even the New Jersey governor, who is also a Democrat, told Kathy Hochul they don't want the congestion tolls.
Congestion pricing, you're talking about this $9 toll you put on people driving into lower Manhattan below 60th Street. Your fellow Democrat, Phil Murphy of New Jersey, says he doesn't like this policy. He actually asked President Trump to stop it.
That was right after he said, and don't look in the room above my garage where we're hiding all the illegal aliens.
President Trump's office says this is discriminatory against working class people. How do you respond to that?
I respond this way. With all due respect to the state of New Jersey, they do not tell us in New York what to do, nor does Washington when it comes to policies that we believe are going to reduce congestion, move along vehicles. Emergency vehicles are moving faster. Air quality is improving. So I have arguments that are important, but no one else should be able to second guess us because that's not how our system of laws and states was set up.
Nobody should be allowed to second guess us, says the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. If I want to tax my citizens, nobody should be allowed to second guess me. Oh, and they say Trump is the these are the same people that say Trump is the dictator, right? He's tyrannical. That's it. That's it.
I'm the governor of New York. I will deal with the internal issues before me without interference from New Jersey or indeed the federal government. So this is.
You're going to just keep taxing your citizens. It's a bold strategy. You know, at least we have a Democrat trying something different, right? Unbelievable. Another story that I found over the weekend, which it just tickled me pink, and it just highlights the absolute madman that is Donald Trump. He's out for retribution, maybe a little bit. There's a federal building in San Francisco, and it's titled the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building. Trump's going to sell it.
White House is looking to sell the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building on 7th Street and the century-old building at 50 United Nations Plaza. The Trump administration says it will save money by avoiding maintenance on the buildings, selling the properties, then leasing office space for federal workers. Former Congresswoman Jackie Spears says it's just about vengeance.
It's another example of how he's coming after Democrats, he's coming after California, and it's all about payback.
Oh, it's all about payback. It's all about payback. There's so many people that federal workers that aren't showing up to the office, plain and simple. So, I mean, I would assume that the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building in San Francisco is just as empty as a lot of the federal buildings. And Elon put out a post this morning around 5 a.m. Those who have ignored President Trump's executive order to return to work have now received over a month's warning. Starting this week, those who will still fail to return to the office will be placed on administrative leave. So you have empty federal buildings. Yeah, it's funny that he's getting rid of the Nancy Pelosi Federal Building in San Francisco, but I feel like we could do this with a lot more federal buildings. Representative Ralph Norman on the federal buildings and them being empty and people needing to get back to work.
Price tag that the taxpayers pay is right at $271 billion a year. Is it too much to ask for them to verify why they're making an average salary of $106,000 a year? Do you think in the private sector that single mom who is working 2 jobs at a restaurant can't justify where she was, or the hygienist at the dentist's office can't verify how many patients they saw? The absurdity and I guess the arrogance of the workers who says that's a heavy lift is what's wrong with that's what the Americans are sick and tired of. It's not their money. We're the ones who are paying the bills. We have a right to know.
Yeah, and Ralph Norman is he's on the House Financial Services Committee, and he said not a single government agency is occupying even half of their office space. So yeah, we have every right to wonder when you're getting back to work. When are you going to start doing your job again? It sure would be nice if you could do that on behalf of the American people. Elon sent an email out over the weekend, ruffled quite a few feathers. Said, hey, real quick, what'd you do last week? A lot of people are up in arms about this. I like it. I like it a lot. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'll tell you what, Marsha Blackburn is demanding from the new FBI director. And also a Grammy-winning singer has died. Those stories coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Is Marsha demanding the Epstein list?
Come on, you're not supposed to bust up my news, man.
Sorry, Joe.
Jeez. We all knew.
Forget I said anything.
Yeah.
Forget I said
Yeah,
anything.
sure.
You know, they said that was going to be released at the end of day one. Glenn Beck said, so we're still waiting.
Well, Pam Bondi said on Friday, I think. Yeah, on Friday that she had the list on her desk.
Ooh. Yep, and they asked, were you shocked? And she said no. And a lot of people were like, oh, maybe there's nothing on the list. I'm like, maybe she just was already kind of up to speed on who may be on the list.
Yep.
We'll find out. Looking forward to Jones Newscast on the way, 9:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Got a great text here from Chuck. And I love this kind of text. Chuck sends in a message and he goes, why is Trump overshadowing Vance with Elon? I'm getting pissed. And I thought, that's a weird text. Why does that piss you off? Also, is it Trump overshadowing Vance with Elon, or is it the media overshadowing Vance with Elon? Also, isn't this a good thing, right? Like, we want Vance for 2028. Nobody's throwing any mud his way. He's not getting hit with any arrows, any slings. Elon's taking a lot of those. I'm still waiting for Chuck's response, but I just thought it was an interesting text. Does that get you pissed?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know why it would get you pissed.
Yeah.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, I wouldn't know why. I'd love to hear. You should call in, honestly.
Yeah, 615-737-9986. Maybe other people feel that way too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe. I like what Elon's doing. I like what Trump is doing. I like what Vance is doing. And thousands of USAID employees have been laid off. Thousands. Thousands more placed on leave. More than 2,000 employees at the U.S. Agency for International Development, CIA, were fired, while thousands more were reported to have been placed on administrative leave. Staffers received notices informing them as of 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Sunday, February 23rd, 2025, all USAID employees will be placed on administrative leave globally, except for employees responsible for mission-critical functions and core leadership, according to the Associated Press. Employees were also notified that USAID's was beginning a reduction in force that would eliminate 2,000 U.S.-based jobs. However, this was later changed in another notice to 1,600 employees reportedly having their jobs affected, according to the outlet. The layoffs continues, and federal workers have no idea how to respond to this. We've been dealing with this in the private sector for a while. I know it's a shock. It's a shock to some federal employees. But they will continue until morale improves. I'm here for it. And Elon sent out an email saying, hey, what'd you do last week? A lot of people just up in arms about it. I'm a big fan of it. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got to let you know about an accident this morning that is blocking I-440 eastbound at Murphy Road. That's exit 1A in Sylvan Park. The accident there, 2 left lanes have been blocked off again. That's I-440 at Murphy Road. It's blocked in 2 left lanes. We'll keep you updated throughout the morning. We do have breaking news. A federal judge temporarily blocking DOGE from accessing personal records at the Department of Education as part of its cost-cutting sweep. Fox News reporting the judge who was appointed by President Biden is the same judge who last month blocked President Trump's executive order on ending birthright citizenship. French President Emmanuel Macron is meeting with President Trump at the White House at this hour. The meeting comes after Macron called for an emergency gathering of world leaders over President Trump's exclusion of Europe from the negotiations to settle the war between Ukraine and Russia. Metro Nashville police were on the scene of a shooting and car crash in South Nashville very early this morning. The shooting taking place at an event center on Woodbine Street. And the car there involved in this drove away from the scene and then crashed into a vape shop on Nolensville Pike. Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac picks it up from there.
Crashed into the vape shop, and we're told that there were two people inside of that car. There was one passenger who was taken to the hospital to be treated for that gunshot wound, and then also there was the driver of that car who has died.
A third person showed up at another hospital with gunshot wounds, and police believe that person is also related to this incident. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn calling on newly inaugurated FBI Director Kash Patel to follow through and release the complete and unredacted records on notorious sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. Blackburn penning a letter to Patel this morning. She demands the complete flight logs from Epstein's jet and helicopter, his so-called Little Black Book, and surveillance footage from his Palm Beach, Florida residence. In Pennsylvania, police are unraveling the heartbreaking details of a hospital hostage situation that ended with several people dead, including a police officer.
A senior law enforcement official tells ABC News anguish and anger over the recent death of a loved one who was treated at the hospital sent 49-year-old Diogenes Archangel Ortiz into UPMC Memorial with zip ties and a semi-automatic handgun. He shot a doctor, a nurse, and a custodian, then held a staff member hostage as police burst in. The suspect died in a shootout, but not before wounding two policemen and killing Officer Andrew Duarte. He had just turned 30.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. And we are just learning that singer Roberta Flack has died 5 years after the announcement that she suffered with Lou Gehrig's disease. Flack's hits included Killing Me Softly with his song and The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. Roberta Flack was 88 years old. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
So they're cutting waste and they're cutting abuse, they're cutting fraud. Everybody's fine with that. But the moment Elon sends out an email saying, hey, what'd you do last week? Everybody loses their mind on both the left and the right. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch the show over on YouTube. The chat is always jumping over on YouTube. Shout out to the chat. You can find us by searching for Super Talk 99.7 WTN on YouTube. And then while you're there, we're live. Hit like and subscribe. We do appreciate it. So Elon wants to know what exactly it is that you do here. That's pretty much the gist of it. The Office Space memes are becoming a reality. And it was over the weekend that Elon Musk issued what is being called as an ultimatum to federal employees, directing them to report on their recent progress or face termination. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm here for it. I like this. What did you do last week? This should be very easy. And a lot of people are getting very upset about this. He doesn't have the authority to do it. And I would say I think he does. Because in the tweet where he announced this, he said, consistent with President Trump's instructions. I think that's the part that I wanted to underline the most. Consistent with President Trump's instructions. So this was instructed to him via President Trump. All federal employees will shortly receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. Everybody lost their mind. He doesn't have the authority to do this. Well, again, I go back to consistent with the president's instructions. So the president gave him the instructions to do this. According to Politico, the email with the subject line, what did you do last week? Instructs employees to submit approximately 5 bullet points of what you accomplished last week and to CC your manager. You've probably seen the screenshot of the email floating around on the interwebs. It also advises them to not include classified information, and employees must respond by the end of the day today, though the email does not specify any consequences for failing to do so. That was essentially added via the tweet from Musk. The message was reportedly sent broadly across the federal government, reaching employees in multiple agencies. Musk's directive comes amid ongoing resistance by the Democrats to DOGE and to DOGE's efforts to reduce government size, cut waste, and improve efficiency. His post followed a message from President Trump on Truth Social earlier in the day in which Trump praised Musk and encouraged him to go even further and to go even harder. The message on Truth Social said this from Trump: Elon's doing a great job, but I'd like to see him get more aggressive. Remember, we have a country to save, but ultimately to make greater than ever before. And a lot of people point out that what Musk is doing is essentially mirroring exactly what he did when he acquired Twitter in April of 2022. Shortly before finalizing that deal, he had texted then CEO Parag Agrawal and said, hey, what'd you get done this week? After issuing the new federal ultimatum, Musk referenced that exchange on Twitter as well. And he pointed out Parag got nothing done, so Parag was fired. I'm here for this. If federal employees don't want to list out 5 things they did last week, or they can't list out 5 things they did last week, well, then they should move on. A lot of people look at this and they say, Elon is looking for all the people that need to be fired, and that's a good thing, and that's true. But I think that there's another side of this coin that people are missing. They're also looking for the good employees, right? They're looking for the employees that go above and beyond, the employees that really go to work and they work hard. And you're going to find those guys in these emails as well. You're going to find the type of people that love America, love the agencies they work for, want them to do better and be better, and then you're going to be able to promote those people. It's not exactly just we're going to find the bad workers and we're going to fire them. It's also we're going to find the good workers and we're going to reward them. Let's be real. There's 2 sides to that coin. Now, it didn't stop Democrats from flipping out. And one Democrat senator, Tina Smith out of Minnesota, she went on a social media tirade, and she's flipping out a bit, and she said she called Elon a D boss, referencing a slang term for the male anatomy. Called him a D boss for orchestrating the email that went out to federal workers on Saturday with the subject line, "What did you do last week?" A D boss. This is just what bosses do, right? Like, we've all worked at jobs where your boss says, "What'd you do last week?" Imagine if you were able to just flip out, like, "What is this? I'm not going to answer you. How dare you? How dare you ask me what I did last week?" No, this is just how reality works. Tina Smith on Elon's social media platform that he owns said, "This is the ultimate D-boss move from Musk, except he isn't even the boss. He's just a D." All right. What'd you do last week, Senator Tina Smith? Anything good? Anything good at all? She said, "I bet a lot of people have had an experience like this with a bad boss. There's an email in your inbox Saturday night saying, 'Prove to me your worthiness by Monday or else.' I'm on the side of the workers, not the billionaire blank hole bosses." Okay. All right. Hey, it's a bold strategy. But everybody was flipping out. A lot of people saying that just by asking, "What did you do last week?" that was a traumatizing event. Some of these posts are just unbelievable. There's a Twitter account called the Gas Stove, and they're saying that the email was sent shockwaves and is traumatizing federal workers. And Democrats are making Elon's job easier by asking the workers not to respond to emails. But you got all these quotes. They're proving that their only goal is not efficiency, but to dismantle democracy by traumatizing federal workers, says a current federal employee who's asked to remain anonymous as they aren't authorized to speak publicly about their agency. They see this as a video game where they level up every time they hurt or eliminate a federal worker. We're leveling up. We're not even at our final form. I got another quote here. "Personally, I'm afraid to not respond by the deadline based on Elon's tweets that non-response would be considered a resignation. I'm afraid. Yeah, if you don't do your job, you should be afraid of being fired. You absolutely should." We got Representative Veronica Escobar. To my Republican colleagues, are you okay with this? "Our dedicated workforce has been harassed, maligned, and decimated by Trump Musk. You have been silent. When will at least 3 of you have the courage to stand with us and support the law and the public servants who work for America?" It's like, have you seen the amount of money going out the door? Are they working for America? And a lot of these agencies asking for a friend. "What did you do last week?" It's traumatizing. How dare you? I'm traumatized. It hurts. I can't believe that somebody would ask them that question. I don't seem to have an issue with it. Do you have an issue with these emails? 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. 615-737-9986. Again, the email says, "Please reply to this email with approximately 5 bullet points of what you accomplished last week and CC your manager. Please do not send any classified information, links, or attachments. Deadline is this Monday at 11:59 Eastern." It's so traumatizing. I feel bad for even reading that on the air. Elon posting on X, "The reason this matters is that a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they are not checking their email at all. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, there is outright fraud." Elon on the record on X saying dead people are receiving checks. That would be outright fraud. An NBC reporter, he's going after. He's calling it a power struggle because the FBI said that they're not going to comply to this. Ken Delanian over at NBC, he posted, "The power struggle begins." FBI Director Kash Patel tonight has instructed his employees to ignore Elon Musk's productivity inquiry, saying essentially, "We will evaluate our own people. Thanks." And then he posted the email. And it said, "All FBI personnel may have received an email from OPM requesting information. The FBI, through the Office of the Director, is in charge of all of our review processes and will conduct reviews in accordance with FBI procedures. When and if further information is required, we will coordinate the responses. For now, please pause any responses." And, it's a power struggle. Or it could be Kash Patel saying, "Let me get in and get a handle on what's going on at the FBI. And we'll deal with this in a week," right? It may not just be a power struggle. They want to go for division so quickly. They're so quick. Everything's falling apart. Kash Patel is like, let me get my feet wet before we start going down this road. Amy in the borough, are you okay with Elon Musk sending out an email asking what you did last week?
Absolutely. Actually, I wish he would ask for that to be an end-of-shift report on every single day that they're at their desk, or should be at their desk, I should say. This is ridiculous. We should have had this accountability in place from day one. If you have a job with the federal government, you should not get any more entitlements than the regular standard folks that work for Walmart. They have to make a report and say what they've done on their day.
I'm with you, Amy. I appreciate it. You should be held to the same accountability at the very least. Rick, Rutherford County, what do you think about the emails?
Keep them coming. Hey, my job, I have to keep a log of what I do every day on the hour. So what's wrong with holding them accountable to just make sure they're doing their job?
I'm with you.
If they weren't worried about it, they wouldn't be fussing about it.
It's been so long without this kind of accountability that the even hint of accountability coming sends them into an absolute panic.
Exactly. They've got away with it for so long. They've stole for so long that it's just become second nature to them. And then now, oh, God, we got to prove what we're doing to make our check. Well, you should have been doing that the whole time.
Amen. Appreciate the call, Rick. Mike on the road. You're next on Super Talk. What up, Mike?
Hey, I'm just kind of, I've got friends that are air traffic controllers, and I'm a retired air traffic controllers. The thing is, as federal employees, most of us don't have an official government email address, or we don't have access to a government computer to answer Elon Musk's email. So he's kind of pissed off a whole lot of air traffic controllers, and the last thing this country wants to lose is for Musk to try to fire a bunch of these guys.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna go into firing air traffic controllers. They've already been on record that a lot of those guys were exempt from any of the layoffs, and I don't see that coming. But where would they receive email? Did they receive the email?
Well, most of us never had access to the email computers at work because, one, we're too busy working, and it's and management controls, who has access to the facility's computers, and most of the time the controllers don't have access to them.
So
you wouldn't get the email in the first place.
Doesn't that highlight the issue that we have? You don't even get the emails from management and from your work leaders. You wouldn't even see the email. You're not checking the email. Isn't that part of the issue that we're finding?
I mean, some of it, yeah.
So wouldn't this kind of fix a lot of that?
Well, I mean, here's the whole thing. Most government agencies are top-heavy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I've worked at facilities where they had more people in management than they had controllers. But it's, as a controller, you rely on your supervisor to let you know when something has to be done, performance-wise or paperwork-wise, it has to be done. And then they make time for you to go down, get on a computer, do a course, answer emails or whatever. But until that happens, you don't know, on that side of the house what's going on.
See, I find that very, very hard to believe that nobody has access to email.
Hey, I've worked for the federal agency for 25 years. And the only time I got on a government computer was when I had to go down and do a course. I never had to check emails. I didn't have a government email address.
Interesting. Well, I think things are changing. I appreciate the call, Mike. Let's go to Jay in Kentucky. Your thoughts on the email, Jay?
Hey, man, I just want to know what Elon's email is. I'll email him every week, let him know what I'm doing. Dadgum. Let's all get on board. Let's be productive. Let's go. And just to mention, I just want to mention this, and then I'll hang up. But Ken Weaver is my dog, man. Come on. Woo!
All right, I'll let him know when he gets in here. Appreciate the call, Jay. It's 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
A new shakeup at a legacy media outlet. And the hunt is on for a shooting suspect in Murfreesboro. He's considered armed and dangerous. Those stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram. All of them are the same. At Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. You can watch us live. Super Talk TV happening over on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe while you're there. Just search for Super Talk 99.7 WTN on YouTube, and we'll pop right up. We're going over this email sent by Elon Musk demanding federal employees report their progress. Failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. And we had a call a minute ago. And we don't even have emails. We don't even have computers. I feel like you wouldn't have to worry at that point, but I don't know. According to Politico, the subject line, what did you do last week? And they ask people to just give 5 bullet points of what you accomplished last week. CC your manager. Telling them don't include classified information. Employees must respond by the end of today. And the email doesn't specify any consequences for failing to do so, but Elon said if you don't, it will be considered your resignation. And a lot of people, what authority does Elon have? What authority? Well, again, I just would point to one of the original posts, which happened 2 days ago. Elon saying, consistent with President Donald Trump's instructions, all federal employees will receive an email requesting to understand what they got done last week. Consistent with President Trump's instructions. Whose authority? Well, President Trump's. John in Nashville, what do you think about these emails?
I think it's great to be accountable, but it shouldn't be publicized. It should be internal. Don't publicize it. And it should happen top down too, like have the managers accountable.
But everything, this would have leaked no matter what. Like even if Trump didn't talk about it, Elon didn't talk about it, you would have had an unnamed source leaking it. So why wouldn't you go public with it and at least control the narrative?
Well, at least if it's a leak, it's come from the government. But Elon is good and everything, but a lot of people see him differently. I'm with him 100%. But to have everybody on board, we shouldn't publicize it like that.
I just feel like it would have leaked one way or the other. You might as well get out in front of it personally. But I appreciate the call. Thanks, John. Let's go to Brian in Thompson Station. Brian, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hi, Chris. Good morning. I've been in IT since 1984 in various positions, and I wholeheartedly agree with Elon. I think that in the spirit of efficiency, that needs to be done. He needs to set up a metric system for them and have them set goals and monitor their progress towards these goals. Everyone that I've ever known in all this time that works in IT for the government are either inept, lazy, or if they have a bad attitude. And I think for our taxpayer dollars that we should be getting the cream of the crop. They need to make those positions more attractive, and that's how you need to cull that bad workforce out of there and get in good people.
Yeah,
you can turn it around.
I'm with you. Do you think that this is going over the line for Elon Musk, that he doesn't have the authority to do this, or are you all on board?
I'm all on board so long as President Trump he's doing exactly what he wants him to do. I think it's wonderful.
Yep. And Trump wants him to go even harder. I appreciate the call, Brian. Trump wants him to go even further. Again, I think that a lot of this story is going to be made out that they're trying to fire people. But I think that you need to also look at the other side of the coin. They're looking for high performers. They're looking for people that love their country, that love their position, and that want to excel. And maybe they've been held back by leftists along the way. Maybe they just haven't had a chance to shine, and they can lay out exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and the good work that they're doing, and they're going to receive a promotion out of this deal. I don't think it's all going to be negative, and it's all going to be either you respond to this email or you're fired. I think they're going to have a lot of government employees that are like, yeah, I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing, because I don't think my manager has been willing to tell anybody up the chain what I'm doing. So here's my opportunity. I think you're going to have a high volume of people that are fantastic at their job that are then going to be rewarded and promoted at the end of all this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I do think that you have to look at that other side of the coin as well. I don't think this is just going to be individuals getting fired, although I do hope that there's a lot of that. Trump spent the weekend over at CPAC, and he had a message for the fraudsters, the liars, the cheaters, and the globalists. I'll bring it back to you when we get back after Joan Jones's newscast, which starts right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning to you. It's now 10 o'clock. I'd make that 10:30. And I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, there are more shakeups at legacy media outlets. Lester Holt is out at NBC Nightly News. The longtime newscaster saying he'll leave the Daily News show at the start of the summer. NBC has so far not named a successor. This announcement comes after MSNBC announced Joy Reid's show is canceled at the Liberal Network. Also gone is Alex Wagner, who hosted a 9 p.m. weeknight show. Elon Musk says President Trump's patience is worn thin. Now federal workers who haven't returned to the office by today will be placed on administrative leave. On X, Musk said the feds have had over a month's warning. The post comes after Trump's Saturday social media posting that said Musk is doing a good job, but he should be more aggressive. Rutherford County Police are searching for the 19-year-old man who's reportedly shot and injured a 4-year-old just before 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. This happened on Tessa Grace Way in Murfreesboro, where neighbors like Chip Caston said they're shocked.
It's been really nice here. We've been here 5 years. We look after each other.
He was speaking to Channel 4 there. 19-year-old Talik Galashaw King, the alleged shooter, is considered armed and dangerous. At the time of the shooting, deputies say that King was out on bond for an attempted murder charge out of Smyrna. That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather coming up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 1032 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Winter clearance sales happening right now. The savings being passed along to you are absolutely huge. They're clearing out all their 2024 inventory to make room for the incoming 2025 models. And if you need a new heater, you won't find a better deal than this. Just $6,997 for a 14-SEER, 1.5 to 3-ton split heat pump model. That is unbeatable. Now, maybe you don't need to replace your unit, and I hope you don't. Busy Bee can also help you keep your unit in tip-top shape, or they can help you fix whatever may be ailing it. And to do that, really the best way is to join the Beehive Club today. Beehive Club will take care of all your systems. It's just $99 per unit. You get 3 annual tune-ups, 10% off all repairs, front-of-the-line service, and a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with no overtime or holiday fees and exclusive Beehive member promotions all month long. In February, you buy one Beehive Club membership, you get one of equal or lesser value for free. Call Busy Bee today. You won't be disappointed. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. Online, busybeehvac.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how's it going? It's Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. Hit the follow button. I will follow back. The show's live over on YouTube. You just search for Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and you can watch us in all of our glory. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. It helps feed my kids. Do appreciate it. They're growing tired of bread and water. So you want to help out? Hit like and subscribe over on the YouTube channel. Appreciate it. We're live on YouTube thanks to our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You understand why you need them, right?
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Betterwater.com. So CPAC was over the weekend. And I don't know. I like some of these events. CPAC seemed a little bit boring, a little forced. Did it feel forced to you?
Yeah, kind of.
It felt like at times a little cringy. At times
felt like an obligation more than anything.
Like I liked Elon's chainsaw bit. You know, I mean, it was a nice chainsaw. It was a Binford Tools level chainsaw. but it was like it just felt kind of cheesy at the exact same time.
Yeah.
It felt forced. So I didn't pay too much attention. I did catch some of Trump over at CPAC, and Trump. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything bad about this guy. He's on an absolute tear.
The fraudsters, liars, cheaters, globalists, and deep state bureaucrats are being sent packing. The illegal alien criminals are being sent home. We're draining the swamp and we're restoring government by the people, for the people. For years, Washington was controlled by a sinister group of radical left Marxists, warmongers, and corrupt special interests who drained our wealth, attacked our liberties, obliterated our borders, and sucked our country dry. Not any longer.
Yeah, not happening anymore. And I mean, you're seeing all these changes happening at high level. You got Elon doing what Elon does. We got Kash Patel in as the FBI director, who's also going to be taking over the ATF. I do expect a sharp decline in the amount of dogs being shot by the ATF with Kash Patel now heading over that agency. And then you got Dan Bongino yesterday. Man, that was some big news. Dan Bongino, deputy director of the FBI, named by Kash Patel. Donald Trump celebrating in a True Social post. Wild. Absolutely wild. And overall, the overwhelming majority of the American people like what Trump is doing, and they support him on these major issues. His current approval rating, 52%. Disapprove, 43%. Democrats are at a historic low for approval rating, just 32%. 32%. When you go down the issues, deporting immigrants who are here illegally and have committed crime, 81% support. Undertaking a full-scale effort to find and eliminate fraud and waste in government expenditures, 76% support. Closing the border with added security and policies that discourage illegal crossing, 76% support. Banning men who have undergone operations and hormones to become women from girls' sports, 69% support. I feel like that's a bit low, to be perfectly honest with you on that one. But you go down the line, every single issue, Trump is out in front. Out way in front. Now you have some unhinged leftists who are trying to make the case that Trump is falling apart. In fact, James Carville made that case. Keep your finger on the dump button. You never know with James Carville what he might say. So this is James Carville predicting that the Trump administration is currently in a massive collapse.
This is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion.
A collapse of public opinion for Donald Trump in the next 30 days. Again, I just looked through the list. Ending bans on offshore drilling in Alaska and elsewhere has 57% support. Cutting government expenditures that were already allocated by Congress, 59% support. Placing reciprocal tariffs on countries that have tariffs on U.S. goods, 61%. Freezing and reevaluating all foreign aid expenditures and the department that handled them, 63% support. Eliminating all preferences by race in hiring and awarding of government contracts, 65% support. Again, every single issue that you can look at, Trump is ahead on. Yet James Carville said they're in the midst of a collapse. It's a historic collapse. Okay, well, you got some data to back that up? Oh, he does. It's a Harvard poll.
Della Volpe at Harvard, who's very good. I used to think, once I saw a Harvard youth poll, I discounted it. I've come to say it's a pretty damn good poll.
Yeah, but now that it's agreeing with your preconceived notions, your delusions.
Pretty good guy. He's gone from 53 approval to under 30 to 39. That's a collapse.
Okay, so one poll shows one poll from Harvard shows Trump's approval rating is down, and it's a collapse. This is a collapse like we've never seen. Is this the new narrative that they're currently working on? The narrative that they're crafting, that Trump is in free fall, Trump's approval is tanking. Okay, bold strategy. This is what you're going with. Okay, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work one bit. But maybe we'll see in the coming weeks if this is the strategy that they're going with. But you can understand everybody is ready for the sweeping change that Trump is bringing. It was a mandate. He won the popular vote, the House, the Senate. Yep, we want things to get done, and we want things to get done quickly.
But the people have given us a resounding mandate for dramatic change in Washington, and we are going to deliver it. We're going to use it, and we're going to make America great again by using it. So it's going to be something.
The only complaint I've heard is that things aren't happening quick enough. The only complaints that I can bring to the table on Trump and his team and the people that he's put in place is like, still want the Epstein list, still want Russia collusion investigated, still want a lot of these Democrat kickbacks and their high net worth investigated. Like, yeah, I want the entire COVID scamdemic, plandemic, gain of function research investigated. I want somebody to go through the largest wealth transfer in American history with a fine-tooth comb. I want every little bit of fraud found. And I wish it was done yesterday. That would be my only complaint. But the mountains of just swamp sludge that these guys have to go through, it's going to take some time. But you look at the border, I mean, illegal crossings down 90, 93, 95%. Insane. They said that they needed to stop the bleeding. The bleeding is being stopped. And you're actually having deportations of Mexicans back into Mexico. And the Mexican citizens are making the exact same argument that we made when illegal aliens were being shipped up here. Can we not give them free room and board and money? This is a story that you'll never see on ABC, CBS, NBC. A lot of these repatriated Mexicans are going back to Mexico, and they now want free things. And the government of Mexico is saying, we're going to help you get back on your feet. And the citizenry of Mexico is saying, why? Why would you help these people? Again, you won't story on mainstream media.
Did you know that when the Mexicans are deported from the United States and they go back to Mexico, they're going to get free rent and they're going to get free food? On Mexican state national news in Spanish in Mexico, they just announced, because the ones that are being deported say they're broke, that they're going to get free rent, a place to live, and free food. And the locals are pissed. In the comments section, it blew up, and they let everybody know how they feel. They said those are the criminals that went over there.
Oh, the Mexicans are pissed because they said that the illegal aliens that came here from Mexico are. Did he say criminals? Did he say those are the criminals? Now that they're going to get free room and board and free food, the locals in Mexico are pissed because they're. Sorry, criminals? Huh?
Blew up, and they let everybody know how they feel. They said those are the criminals that went over there. Now they're going to come back, and the crime's going to come back.
Oh, now they're going to come back, and the crime's going to come back. Could it be that they've been emptying their prisons and their mental institutions and sending their worst here?
And you're going to give them free rent and free food? What happened to all the money that they had over there when they were doing all of their social media saying, look at what I got with my little debit card, and they were buying all that stuff, eating shrimp and lobster all the time, and now they're coming back saying we broke, and the government's like, okay, we'll help you out so you can get back on your feet, and the locals are not having it. They don't want them to have all that. They don't want their tax dollars to go to them.
Yeah, they don't want their tax dollars to go to the. I know the feeling. I understand exactly how the citizens of Mexico are feeling. I tend to feel the exact same way. I don't want my tax dollars going towards them. To be here illegally, get free food, free room and board, free cell phones. I mean, we learned last week it was like $22 billion being spent on cars and home loans for illegal aliens. Huh. We have a lot in common with the citizens of Mexico who didn't try to sneak into this country illegally. They don't want their tax dollars being spent on this either. Huh, that's interesting. Just a story that you're not going to see anywhere else. Not on ABC, not on CBS, not on NBC. I wonder why. Why do you think that might be? I feel like this would be a very, very big story. No? Maybe it's by design. A story you probably will see on ABC, CBS, and NBC, which they're going to use to say the Trump administration is absolutely racist and vile and evil. Department of Homeland Security announced late last week, that under the directive of Secretary Kristi Noem, they will be ending deportation protections for Haitian migrants who are in the U.S. A DHS memo obtained by The Hill revealed that the agency is ending temporary protected status for Haitians. That was a designation that allowed them to remain in the United States without fear of deportation because, Haiti is so unstable. Approximately 500,000 Haitians are benefiting currently in the United States from temporary protected status that was given to them by the Biden administration. These are the exact types of people who would have never been allowed in this country in the first place if they were applying based on merit. Biden and Mayorkas attempted to tie the hands of the Trump administration by extending Haiti's temporary protected status by 18 months, far longer than justified or necessary, Kristi Noem said in a statement. We were returning integrity to the TPS system, which has been abused and exploited by illegal aliens for decades. President Trump and Secretary Noem are returning TPS to its original status, temporary. Temporary. I love to see it happen. And you're sure that cities like Springfield, Ohio, are probably breathing a sigh of relief at news like this. And then we got Tom Homan. Tom Homan's been out there too. He had a message for criminal cartels who want to take him out. He was at CPAC over the weekend as well, and the criminal cartels they don't really like Tom Homan. I know, shocker. And because they don't like Tom Homan, he's got some death threats out against him. He's got some not so savory people coming after him. And his message to them at CPAC was, and I quote, "Come get some."
Message to the criminal cartels of Mexico. At the RNC, I said a speech. I said two things at the speech. If you're in the country illegally, you better start packing now. We're keeping that promise. The other thing I said on stage at the RNC, that President Trump is going to designate the criminal cartels of Mexico as a terrorist organization. He's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. After I said that, of course, I got numerous death threats. They've doubled the size of my security detail because all the cartels want to take Homan out. Well, I'll tell you what, come get some.
Absolute beast. Come get some. Come get some. Come get some. The line is long.
You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. You are now a terrorist organization. So word out to anybody that assists them, anybody that sells their drugs on the street, anybody that assists these cartels in any way, you are helping a terrorist organization, and the weight of the world's coming down on you.
I love Tom Homan. Huge fan of what he's doing as our border czar. It's nice to have a real border czar, isn't it? Yep. Big fan. A little bit more to get to on the border. Plus, POTUS at CPAC. He had a message for MS-13 in Trendy, Aragua. We'll bring it to you on the way. 10:51, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Looks like they're looking for a new evening anchor over at NBC. And Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just spoke at a summit marking 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. All this and more coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 56 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. The show is live thanks to our friends at Better Water LLC over on YouTube. Just pop over there, search for Super Talk 99.7. You'll find us. We're live, top of the stack. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. I do appreciate it. Donald Trump over the weekend with a message to illegal alien gangs.
But their members and their leaders in the United States will be hunted down. I'm talking about MS-13. They're hunting them down. We removed tens of thousands, MS-13, Trendiragua, rooted out, arrested, and expelled from our soil like the savage monsters that they are.
Yeah, and listen, we got to get those numbers higher. We got a lot of them. Hundreds of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. Now, you have a lot of liberal states working actively against the Trump administration, making it harder to catch these monsters. It's actually, New York isn't the top of the list anymore, though. New York City is actually going to be shutting down its operation to house migrants in the coming months. I say migrants, I mean illegal alien. But this is according to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The Roosevelt Hotel in New York City, this is a big one where they have a lot of illegal aliens. That's going to be coming to a close. The hotel's been used as a hub for many who have crossed the border illegally during the Biden administration. And Eric Adams says closing it down is going to be a milestone for New York City. You know how many illegal aliens have come through that hotel? Since 2022, 232,000 at that one location.
That's wild.
It's insane. It's insane.
And that's just one location.
Yep. That's just one.
Jeez.
That's just one. Eric Adams said, while we're not done caring for those that came into our care today marks another milestone in demonstrating the immense progress we've achieved in turning the corner on the unprecedented international humanitarian effort. In a video message, Adams said that the operation would be closing down because of the successful strategies we put in place here in New York City and because of policies we advocated for at the border. The hotel will shut down its operations as a migrant shelter by June. Still a lot of time. But the number arriving in the Big Apple, it was about 4,000 a week. And currently, it's come down to about 350 a week. I mean, those are huge, huge drops in numbers. The Adams administration said that between this coming June and June last year, a total of 53 shelters will be shut down, and all of the tent cities will be disbanded in the Big Apple. The Roosevelt Hotel, which has about 1,000 rooms and has been a migrant shelter for a while, that is going to be shut down. It's going to be shut down. You love to see it. You love to see it. Lester Holt out at NBC. Joy Reid out at MSNBC. Are we tired of winning? Are we tired of winning? We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now, big change up for one of the legacy networks. Lester Holt stepping down as anchor of NBC Nightly News. Roberta Flack, Grammy-winning singer of this hit, passing away today at the age of 88. And right now in Middle Tennessee, Rutherford County Police searching for the 19-year-old man they say shot and injured a 4-year-old just before 4 o'clock Saturday morning. Happened on Tessa Grace Way, where neighbors like Chip Caston say they're shocked.
It's been really nice here. We've been here 5 years. We look after each other.
He was speaking to Channel 4 there. 19-year-old Talik Galashaw King, the alleged shooter's considered armed and dangerous. At the time of the shooting, deputies say King was out on bond for an attempted murder charge out of Smyrna. The Vatican releasing the latest update on the health of Pope Francis as he remains hospitalized in critical condition today. The pontiff shows signs of mild kidney failure, which emergency physician Dr. Stephanie Widmer telling ABC News could complicate his recovery.
Kidney insufficiency is often a common complication or finding that we see in individuals who are battling severe illness or hospitalization. And it can range from pretty insignificant mild injury to more florid kidney dysfunction, more serious.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, part of a summit in Kyiv today, marking 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine.
We know we're going to have to continue to do more and more in an uncertain world, and Canada will be there. As to how we will be there, we will work with our neighbors on it, but everything is on the table because we need to make sure that might no longer makes right in this world.
Now, the United States not at this summit of 15 world leaders hosted by Volodymyr Zelensky. Elon Musk issuing a new warning for federal workers over the weekend. Reply to an email asking for your accomplishments or risk losing your job. And against the backdrop of tech sector layoffs and the threat of tariffs from the Trump administration, Apple planning a major investment in its U.S. infrastructure.
Tim Cook was at the White House last week, and while the Apple CEO was silent after his meeting with President Trump, Trump was not.
He's investing hundreds of billions of dollars. I hope he's announced it.
Cook had not, but today Apple confirms that it'll spend $500 billion and hire 20,000 people over the next 4 years as it builds out its research and development and manufacturing within the United States.
Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn calling on newly inaugurated FBI Director Kash Patel to follow through and release the complete and unredacted records on notorious sex predator Jeffrey Epstein. Blackburn penned a letter to Patel this morning demanding the complete flight logs from Epstein's jet and helicopter and a so-called Little Black Book, as well as surveillance footage of his Palm Beach, Florida residence. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We got a heck of a party coming up March 4th, an evening with Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It sounds official when you say it like that, an evening. Murphy's going to be there starting at 3 o'clock, Nashville Palace, doing his entire show out there live, and then myself, Mandis, Benson, Joan Jones, Ken Weaver, the entire squad's going to be out there at the Nashville Palace as we watch Donald Trump address a joint session of Congress. It's going to be a fun time. You should come. Tickets are only $40. Gets you access to a total buffet, which is going to be awesome. Some drink tickets and reserved seating. 997WTN.com for that. During the break, you know who pops in my studio?
Who popped in your studio?
Headless Bell.
Oh.
I said, And then I said,
where's your head?
So what's up, man? He said, have you heard the new Tom McDonald song? I said, I have. Have you heard the new Tom McDonald song?
I have not.
The new Tom McDonald song is pretty good. It's called Man in the Sky.
Ooh.
It's got like 2 million views already. He released it over the weekend. Yeah, 2 million views.
Whoa.
Number 2 on iTunes. Way better than his song with Roseanne. Way better than his song with Roseanne. It actually might be the best song that Tom McDonald ever did. I may play it a little bit later.
I'm here for it.
I may.
I'm here for it.
We can't do it on the YouTube channel, so I'll give it a little bit of notice.
Yeah, just join on
the FM dial.
On the FM.
Or iHeart or TuneIn. We get away with the copyright stuff on the streaming apps.
It's just audio. You'll be able to hear it.
But we can't get away with it on YouTube because reasons. Reasons. Speaking of reasons, MSNBC has canceled Joy Reid, and I have been struggling to come up with the reasons as to why.
It's just,
I don't understand. And I went through. So MSNBC, and I hate to bury the lead. I don't want to break your heart here. MSNBC has canceled Joy Reid after what you could only describe as the most successful race baiting show in history.
What?
I know. Why would they get rid of Joy Reid? I mean, and I go back through all these takes that she's had, and do you remember when she said that Joe Biden recovering from COVID was just as much of a symbol of strength as Donald Trump surviving an assassination attempt?
Question that I have on that. These two men are both elderly. Donald Trump is an elderly man who, for whatever reason, was given 9 seconds to take a iconic photo op during an active shooter situation. Weird situation. We'll figure that out one day. But
yeah, we will get to the bottom of that, especially with our new FBI. I don't think they're hosing down crime scenes right away anymore. Maybe we'll get some answers as to why Thomas Matthew Crooks didn't have a social media platform for a 20-year-old kid. Why was his house so weirdly sterilized and had no utensils? A lot of things that we'll get to the bottom of, but I don't want to bury Joy Reid's take.
his survival of that and bouncing right back and going right to his convention is being conveyed in the media world as a sign of strength. This current president of the United States is 81 years old and has COVID. Should he be fine in a couple of days? Doesn't that convey exactly the same thing?
No. Not even remotely close, actually. Getting over a bit of a cold versus almost having the back of your head blown off. Why? I cannot for the life of me come up with a reason why they would let Joy Reid go. I don't know. Could it have been her Thanksgiving message to MAGA?
These are the people who say the undocumented, who they get to call illegal immigrants, like the Pilgrims had permission to come here, have to suffer the consequences of their actions, right? They made the choice to overstay their visas or come into our country illegally. So if they get deported, consequences.
Yeah.
But you right-wingers shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of your votes? You don't want to be around me because I voted for fascism. No fair. I'm coughing on you with COVID, but you want me to wear a mask for your safety? No fair. My body, my choice.
So, yeah. How could they have let her go? How? I mean, she was just an astute political commentator. Here's another gem from Joy Reid. when she said that Kamala Harris ran a flawless campaign.
I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. She had Queen Latifah never endorses anyone.
She got the Queen Latifah endorsement, guys.
She came out and endorsed. I mean, she had every prominent celebrity voice. She had the Taylor Swift. She had the Swifties. She had the Beehive. Like, you could not have run a better campaign in that short period of time. And I think that's still true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she got fired, and I'm just as shocked and broken up about it as the next guy. And let's start. We should start a petition to bring her back. We should. I bet you there'd be a lot of people signing up to or lining up to sign that. Who do we think is the reason for Joy Reid being fired? Well, I think you can only blame one man.
Take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
Yeah, that would be my guess. What?
Sorry.
Take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
Do you remember when she was like, I'm not going to go on the air and say that. I'm going to spell it out because I have such a high level of journalism that BALLS. And then like the next day she goes,
take a deep breath for just a moment and ponder big balls.
Yeah, pondered. Consider it pondered. Joy Reid is out. Joy Reid is out. They don't understand. They don't understand why they've lost the narrative, why they've lost control of the plot. It's because these are the people that you propped up. Losers. Insane individuals. Trump is more trusted by Americans than the media. This is according to a YouGov poll. And yeah, you look at the people that they put in these prominent positions in media, like Joy Reid, like Rachel Maddow, like these losers, like Jen Psaki. And yeah, it's not really a shock at all. All right, so we got a new poll out of YouGov and said that Americans have more trust in Donald Trump and his administration than in the media. According to the poll, only 29% of Americans say they have a fair amount or a great deal of trust in the media's ability to report facts fully. 29%. This is the only people that can beat them for a lower approval rating right now is Congress. This is unreal. Meanwhile, 38% of Americans say they lack trust in the Trump administration's ability to report facts fully and accurately. 25% say they have a great deal of trust in the administration, up 18% in 2017 when he took office for the first time. The poll also found that 43% of Americans believe the media actively wants Trump to fail. This includes 73% of Republicans, 40% of independents, 15% of Democrats. A majority of Americans, 59%, believe the media should be neutral in its coverage of Trump. 64% of Democrats, 52% of Republicans expressed this sentiment. Just be neutral. Just report the facts. She's out. She's gone. Good riddance. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. We also have more coming in from Ukraine and Russia and what that peace deal might look like. Trump is going to be getting those earth minerals, whether they like it or not. It seems like this is just a foregone conclusion. Post Millennial has this story. The United States and Ukraine are reportedly close to finalizing an agreement that would grant the U.S. access to valuable rare earth minerals. That arrangement was proposed by the Trump administration as a means for Ukraine to repay the military aid provided by the U.S. to aid their fight against Russia. Zelensky acknowledged this in his nightly video address on Friday, that teams from both nations were actively working on a draft proposal, according to the Wall Street Journal. Ukraine had initially resisted signing such a deal, but then Trump essentially said, no, you're going to sign it. So now here we are. Trump sent Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to the leader during a meeting in Kyiv. Heated exchange between Trump and Zelensky and a standoff raised concerns about a potential diplomatic fallout between Washington and Kiev. But they're now saying we're signing an agreement, hopefully in the next fairly short period of time. Trump said to reporters at the White House just a couple days ago. And yeah, we deserve some of that back. We shouldn't just be giving billions upon billions of dollars for nothing. For what? Sending people to a meat grinder, as Trump has put it on numerous times. Scott Bessent was talking about that rare earth minerals deal over the weekend on Maria Bartiromo's show, And it sounded like this.
Us through the negotiations that you are having right now to tap into not just these rare earth minerals, but also oil in Ukraine. What can you tell us? Where does the deal stand?
So, Maria, as you said earlier, I traveled to Kyiv about 10 days ago and met with President Zelensky. And this deal is part of President Trump's long arc negotiating strategy for peace between Ukraine and Russia, and to let the Ukrainians get back to a peaceful existence. So the first part of this is a partnership between Ukraine and the U.S. that involves strategic minerals, energy, and state-owned enterprises, where we set up a partnership, and we are only looking forward. It is a win-win. President Trump created this idea himself. It is a win-win. We make money if the Ukrainian people make money, and I believe that with the United States of America, our know-how, our businesses willing to come in and provide capital, that we can accelerate the Ukrainian growth trajectory and take in substantial monies for the U.S. taxpayers and get the Ukrainian economy on a great growth trajectory.
It's a win-win, says Scott Bessent. Yeah, we'll make some money, and the Ukrainians will make money as well, and we'll have private enterprise coming in with capital, and then the Ukrainian people will benefit from it. It'll get their economy on a growth trajectory. Who says no? And then the United States is actually going to be invested in the region. They're going to want to protect that region. I think it's a win. But this is the way things are changing. Donald Trump is focused on peace. Mike Waltz was also on Maria Bartiromo over the weekend, and he said, listen, this is a huge change in foreign policy. President Trump is changing how we're dealing with the war in Ukraine, so that way we can finally achieve one thing, and that's peace.
What you're seeing under President Trump's leadership in just under a month is bringing multiple wars to an end. He is a president of peace. And on the Ukraine-Russia side, you're seeing, number one, a reformulation of how the United States provides aid, a partnership with Ukraine economically and their critical minerals, and really reformulating that so that the American people can see a return on this massive investment they've made. That's one. Number two, we go to a ceasefire. Number three, we reformulate how the United States deals with Russia. We saw that first step with President Trump talking to both Putin and Zelensky, and then the further engagement in Riyadh. And then number four, engagement with our European allies, as you see the president of France and the prime minister of the United Kingdom coming to Washington this week. And we welcome their ideas for security guarantees and European leadership to take care of Europe's security.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a radical way of looking at things. Europe should take care of Europe. I know, it's crazy. Did you see President Macron, France's president? He showed up today in D.C., and a lot of people are saying that he's already in trouble with Trump because when he showed up, he pulled up to the White House, and there was nobody there to greet him. He had to walk in by himself, all lonely. All lonely. No one there to greet him. But listen, Trump is changing things. He's changing things very, very quickly. Pete Hegseth was talking about this over the weekend. This is on Fox News Sunday, about how Trump is the only one that could have brought Russia to the table for peace talks. Biden was never able to do this.
Okay, so let's start here. Tomorrow marks 3 years, an anniversary of the start of this war. Russia apparently is planning to declare victory tomorrow. There are propagandists who say they're going to share messages that the West essentially abandoned Ukraine. I mean, how does the U.S. and will it counter that messaging if that's a victory lap Russia tries to take?
Well, Vladimir Putin can attempt to take all the victory laps he wants. The reality is the president is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's stopping the killing and the destruction across Ukraine and ensuring an enduring peace.
I love that answer. Well, Russia's going to try and take a victory lap on this. Like, okay, and everybody, everyone in these deals is going to try to come out smelling like roses, or at least position themselves to look like they did something great. Hegseth goes, and? What's wrong with that? We care about peace.
So both sides are going to make a lot of claims, And the president has very directly engaged both sides in real time. There's bilateral negotiations with Russia, which, by the way, no one else has been able to do. Joe Biden was never able to bring Russia to the table for actual peace talks.
Facts.
Only Donald Trump. He's the only man in the world that would be able to do that. He's also engaging directly with Ukraine. There's going to be bumps in the road in these conversations when you're seeking a historic peace. And ultimately, our role is to do just that, and President Trump is doing that. So I don't need to get into the characterization of. We know who invaded who. We understand the stakes of this game. America, more than any other country in the world, has invested in helping Ukraine defend itself. Now it's time for peace, and that's what the president is dedicated to.
I love it. Now is the time for peace. Yeah, let them take whatever credit they want to take. Let them position it however they want to position it. Honestly, at the end of the day, that doesn't change our objective, and the objective is peace. Always has been, always will be. And Donald Trump is the one guy that's going to be able to bring it to Ukraine, period. The war wouldn't have even started if Trump had been in office. Let's be perfectly honest about the situation. And now we can honestly say the war wouldn't end without Trump in office. It's 11:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Chris Hand here. Tell you about my friends at the Glock store. It's still February last time I checked, so why haven't you taken advantage of 2-for-1 shooting lessons for you and the wife down at the Glock store? February is when you're supposed to do all sorts of fun things with your significant other. And what could be more fun than a couples training session at the Glock store and their incredible, incomparable Shoot 270 indoor shooting rooms? All February long, 2-for-1, just by mentioning my name, Chris Hand, when you book a couples shooting session at shoot270.com. You show up, you mention my name, they knock the price down for you. Now, if your partner hasn't been to Shoot 270, you might have to explain to them this isn't a lane range. You're not going to be stuck between strangers. There's nothing fun about that. This is a private shooting room with a personal instructor, a professional that will tailor the session to your current level of shooting expertise. And whatever level you're at, you're walking out better than you walked in. For me, personally, every single time I'm at the Glock store, I'm shooting less and I'm learning more, and I'm walking out more confident than when I started. The same will be true for you. Book two shooters for the price of one. Shoot270.com. Mention my name all February long at my place to train, the Glock store. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Did you know you're overpaying for your health and wellness products?
With over 20 company-owned brands offering its members vitamins, supplements, wellness, and skincare products, you're able to save up to 70% off retail.
Members Nutrition can't change your life, but we can change the way you live.
All right, drivers got a crash reported 40 westbound right there at Broadway, and bullets flew into a car along Nolensville Pike. We'll tell you about the results and the search for the shooter coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. 11:26 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Ann. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can watch the show over on Super Talk TV. It's on our YouTube page. Hit like, hit subscribe while you're there. We do appreciate it. We need more likes. We need more subscribes. It'll help us.
Not only is it helping feed Chris's kids, it's actually starting to help me now.
It's feeding Mason as well.
Yeah, I'm living off a pack of ramen a week.
You wouldn't want to hurt Mason. He's a growing boy.
Yeah.
All right, Kamala over the weekend, they said she was sniping at Trump. She won an award. A very prestigious award. Very prestigious. Yeah? She lost the election.
Well.
But she won the NAACP's Chairman's Award. Yep.
This is like a consolation prize?
I don't know. But she had a big thank you speech. She gave Dougie a kiss.
Aw.
And she walked away. Then Doug stayed in the audience, and she got up there, and she was wearing this weird black pantsuit.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's very, very
on brand.
Very dictator look going on, and she's wearing this all black tuxedo kind of thing, and this is how she spoke about the award and the current state of America.
This chapter will be written not simply by whoever occupies the Oval Office, nor by the wealthiest among us.
All right, so 13 seconds in, we got a Trump shot and we got an Elon Musk shot.
The American story will be written by you.
Yeah, well, we did. We wrote it emphatically, and you lost. Yikes.
I think it's funny that this is her rebuttal after Trump raked her and Biden over the coals after his
absolutely raked him. Things are bad. Things are bad for the Democrats right now. Do you know who's leading a poll for the Democrat Party nomination for 2028 currently?
Is it still pushing towards Jasmine Crockett or?
No, it's even worse. Even worse.
Oh, who is it?
Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith. And this is, as I said, poll, excuse me, it's betting odds. Stephen A. Smith leads Kamala Harris and Michelle Obama in betting odds for 2028 Democrat nomination. If we learned anything else from the last presidential cycle, the betting odds actually are a good indicator of where the country's at. And according to Front Office Sports, left-wing sports commentator Stephen A. Smith is popping up on the prediction market Kalshi as a top contender for the Democrat nomination for president in the 2028 election cycle. Got to be honest with you. When you look at the Democrat Party as it stands currently, Stephen A. Smith would probably be a much better choice than some of the people that they're talking about, including one Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett had some things to say about Republican voters, and she wasn't the only Democrat taking a big steamy crap on Republican voters over the weekend. I'll bring you that when we get back. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Big shakeup in legacy media. Lester Holt stepping down as NBC nightly news anchor. Now, he's going to stay with the network in a full-time role at Dateline, where he's been the principal anchor for nearly 15 years. Entertainment news. Grammy-winning singer Roberta Flack has passed away. She was 88. Her publicist says she died at home, surrounded by her family. Flack announced in 2022 that she had ALS and could no longer sing. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky hosting 15 world leaders in Kyiv today, marking 3 years since Russia invaded.
The way of this war, how many people they killed, just killed them, and thousands in the prison, and stolen children. And that's why we'll never forget it.
The Ukrainian leader telling leaders that he's ready to resign if it means peace. He offered to stand down if it meant membership of NATO, saying, I'll do it immediately. Here in Nashville, a driver is dead after someone standing along Nolensville Pike fired shots into a car. A passenger was injured in the chest and torso and is in critical condition. Then someone showed up at the hospital with a gunshot wound. Police are working to determine if there's a connection. A Nashville couple says they were surprised when they checked their surveillance video showing a group of burglars targeting cars in their East Nashville neighborhood, rummaging through them before running to the next car.
The invasion of it.
And the quickness.
And
they were so fast.
They were so fast.
They knew what they were doing. You could tell they did it before. They had flashlights and they ran from car to car to car and hit all these cars within what? Just a few minutes.
That's John and Tamitha Boyle telling News 2 they're working with neighbors to put together reward money so they can identify the individuals. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Thank you, Ken. 32 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here from my friends at United Structural Systems. We've had snow. The snow is going to be melting. Where is it going to go? Is it getting into your crawl space and into your basement? If it's stressing you out, take the stress out of this and call USS today. When USS comes to your house, you're going to get a problem solver who's going to provide peace of mind to the customers. You, the homeowner. You're not going to get somebody who's worried about meeting a sales quota or upselling you to the next big thing, but someone who's there to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. And if you're seeing that standing water in your crawl space, you got to fix it. Because if you ignore it, it's only going to get worse. That water could lead to mold. Nasty. That could lead to wood rot, which then could lead to foundation issues. It's only going to get more complicated the more you ignore the problem. Stop ignoring the problem. Call USS today. Get that problem solver to come to your home, and they'll create a custom solution for your home's needs. Whether it's waterproofing or foundation repair, these guys are the best, and they've been doing it since 1994 and have 30,000 satisfied customers to back them up. This is the company who cares and the company that you can trust. They guarantee their best. They're USS. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. Online, USSTN.com.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
This chapter will be written not simply by whoever occupies the Oval Office, nor by the wealthiest among us. The American story will be written by you.
Yeah, we wrote it, and we're trying to close that chapter. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Kamala Harris received an NAACP award over the weekend, the Chairman's Award. And she used that opportunity to take shots at Trump and Musk and all the people that voted for him. And it's like, all right, hey, it's quite the strategy. It didn't exactly work out for you last time. Is it going to work out this time? I don't know. If you go over to Kalshi, the sports betting site for politics as well, she's not even beating Stephen A. Smith in the betting odds to be the 2028 nominee. Yet she's still taking shots. Currently, the leaders for 2028 nominee, at least if you're paying attention to the betting odds, California's Governor Gavin Newsom, Pennsylvania's Governor Josh Shapiro, and Maryland Governor Wes Moore. Those are the top three. And then it's Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith beats out a lot of people. He beats out Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. He beats out the world-famous loser Kamala Harris. He even beats out First Lady Michelle Obama. Beats out Raphael Warnock. He beats out John Fetterman, and he beats out Mark Cuban. Now, again, this is all early. It's just a betting site. But again, if you look at the betting odds during the last election cycle, maybe they're a bit closer to the truth. And I do think that the Democrats have a candidate problem, a massive candidate problem. I mean, where are you going to go? You see them kind of trying to make Jasmine Crockett as the new face of the Democrat Party, but she's stepping in it over and over and over again. She came out in against the DOGE dividend checks, and I'm not a huge fan of the DOGE dividend check either. I think we need to pay down the debt, but the Democrat base loves a good free thing, right? Like whatever the free thing is, they want the free thing, and so she comes out and argues against free money, which I don't think is going to help Jasmine Crockett in her base. And then she stepped in it on Friday. She was on The Breakfast Club, which is a massive radio show syndicated all over the country, and it's a hip hop show. Charlemagne is on the show, DJ Envy, you know the cast of characters, but they had Jasmine Crockett on, and she took the opportunity to, instead of trying to like welcome Republican voters in or go big tent politics, she took the opportunity to crap on Republican voters.
When you look at who's voting for who, the less educated folk, and when I say educated, I'm not even talking about formal education. I'm talking about people that literally don't want to read and enlighten themselves on facts. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that typically vote for the Republicans, and it's one of the reasons that we have to stop writing in theses.
People that don't want to read or enlighten themselves on facts vote Republican. It's a weird take. It's gaslighting, pot calling the kettle black here. But that's Jasmine Crockett's, that's her take.
When you look at who's voting for who, the less educated folk, and when I say educated, I'm not even talking about formal education. I'm talking about people that literally don't want to read and enlighten themselves on facts. Mm-hmm. Those are the people that typically vote for the Republicans, and it's one of the reasons that we have to stop writing in theses as Democrats, right? Like, we want to give you every single little detail that we can find so that you can have all the information. But the reality is that the average person that is going out there and voting, they're not paying attention to that.
So Republicans don't want information, and Democrats need to stop giving information because that makes things more difficult. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm misremembering this, but weren't just about every American screaming for more of Kamala Harris's plan while she was running? Like, she didn't give them anything other than, what was it, price controls at one point that she argued for? Price controls at the grocery store. That was what we got from Kamala Harris as far as her plan. We need to stop writing in theses and giving you every little thing, says Jasmine Crockett. Except you don't, and you haven't, and we're still waiting. This is one of the reasons why Kamala Harris lost. If Jasmine Crockett keeps speaking like this, this will be one of the reasons why she'll lose. Republicans don't want to read and enlighten themselves on facts. It wasn't just Jasmine Crockett saying this kind of stuff. This is how the Democrat Party in general thinks about you, thinks about me, thinks about us. They think we're stupid. They think we're dumb. We're ignorant. We're rednecks. All of the above. Ilhan Omar also echoed something very, very similar. Just a couple days ago, she was sitting down for an interview with Mehdi Hassan, and she called regular old Americans idiots. And she went a step farther, saying that they shouldn't be allowed to say what they think.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people, because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Well, we got it because of the inflation, the wide open southern border, the foreign policy disasters. That's how we got it. But she says, how are these people even allowed to say these things? Actually, it's the First Amendment. It's number 1, which I know you probably haven't spent much time studying that, but it's the first one. It's the first one. Americans shouldn't be allowed to say this kind of stuff. Well, question the official narrative. Question the lies from the Democrat Party. We shouldn't be allowed to do it. And we're idiots. We're idiots for doing that. We're so dumb. We're so dumb.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people.
Because your lies are being debunked in real time, and we can kind of debunk all of your talking points. Because we have free speech platforms like X, and we're not being censored and shut down anymore. Like, what debate is she having a hard time with? Is it the 51 intelligent agents that said Hunter Biden's laptop was disinformation, and we said, no, it was real, and the FBI had it? Is that the other kind of stuff?
Because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day.
Like when we said the COVID vaccine wouldn't stop you from getting it or transmitting it, or when we said that masks don't work, that
it's frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived.
Yeah. The dumbing down of the United States has arrived, says Ilhan Omar, because we're allowed to say ridiculous things that go against the mainstream media narrative. This is the current state of the Democrat Party in 2025. They're going to have a hard time winning elections. The current Democrat Party is against getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse via DOGE. They are against a Ukrainian peace deal, right? They're against Trump and his reciprocal tariffs. They're against everything that Donald Trump is putting forward. They're just against it. It's ridiculous. Americans should not be allowed to say these things. Okay. Listen, by all means, if that's the strategy you want to take, go for it. Because you can look at the polling, and Donald Trump is standing tall in just about every issue that he's tackling. Just about every single one. It's wild. Yet they're going to call us. They're going to call us idiots. Okay. But we'll see. We'll see. Do they want a repeat of Kamala Harris? That's what they're careening towards. Kamala Harris was asked for her thoughts on the LA wildfires, and people are saying her response is more cringeworthy than anyone could have imagined.
What goes through your mind when you see this? You're here, you're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex, you can smell it. You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground.
Nailed it. Is this who the Democrats want to be their leader of the party in 2028? It's going to be a wild few years. So just today alone, we had Trump versus Maine. Hopefully, Maine gets their federal funding stripped. We had Kash Patel getting Dan Bongino as the deputy director of the FBI, which is just fantastic. Congratulations to Dan Bongino. We have Kathy Hochul trying to sue President Trump for the right to tax her citizens more on congestion tolling. We have DOGE just continuing to do DOGE things. USAID employees are being fired. People up in arms over Elon having an email sent out saying, "What'd you do last week?" We have the 3-year anniversary of Ukraine and Russia, and peace deals are in sight. Like we can see them coming. And the Democrats will still try to swipe at Trump and say that what he's doing is not good. Okay, that's a strategy. It's 11:48 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 11:53, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand here. Chad Benson in studio. What? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Live on YouTube. Hit like, hit subscribe. It helps both of us feed our kids.
Yes.
You still doing bread and water for the kids?
I know. Well, I have to. It's part of the
until we get the likes up.
Until we get all the likes up. Bread and water. That's okay though.
We've been switching up. Toast and ice.
Oh, toast and ice. I like that. Don't get crazy with the toast. No butter though.
No.
Just regular old kind of burnt bread.
I went into the fridge the other day and I said to my wife, I said, "What the hell is this?" She had ordered. She did like a grocery delivery.
Yeah.
And they were out of the butter that she wanted, so they gave her a replacement, and it was plant-based butter. I was like, there's no butter in there.
No, it's not butter.
I threw it out.
That's good. I don't like when we do that. It's no substitutes on certain things. You can't substitute.
No, some things it's fine.
Yeah, like Sprite. Oh, we didn't have Sprite, but we had Sierra Mist or whatever it's called this week. Yeah, that's fine. There's a difference between that and like, oh, we got you sugar-free plant-based ice cream over your vanilla ice cream. No, that's not the same. That's disgusting and it costs more money.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So I threw that butter right out.
Solid move, man.
The kids were like, "Can we eat it?" And I said, "No."
You can, but it's going to be gross and you're going to hate yourself.
Not until we get the likes up.
You should feed them that until we get the likes up.
That's actually might be a good strategy. If you don't want me to feed my kids plant-based butter, hit like and subscribe.
I like that. What'd you get up to your likes today? I always forget about that.
We were low. It was rookie numbers today. It was rookie numbers. I've been chastising them in the chat.
Have you?
Step it up.
Solid move.
Step it up.
Yeah. Well, we get busy. You get talking about other things. You forget sometimes to yell at these people.
Well, and then we got the party to promote too.
That's right.
You haven't been to one of our parties yet.
I have not.
You're in for a treat, man.
I know. I woke up, so I went home on Friday, and I was so exhausted. I fell asleep, and I woke up at like 10, and I'd seen all the texts you guys had sent. And I was like, oh, so Matt's going to shave his head if we sell this thing out?
Matt's going to shave his head if we sell out the party at Nashville Palace on March 4th.
That'd be sweet.
Listen, I'm here for it.
I'd like to see that.
Just for Murphy to shave his head.
I would like him to go full mullet.
I'm like considering, going to the back end and finding some clients. Like, okay, if we don't sell out 10 seats, can I put you down for 10 seats?
That's the barn idea. I think we should do that.
We need to make this happen.
Let's do it because we want to see him bald. Like us. Like me, like Dan. I mean, although I shave my head, my hair grows so fast.
Does it?
Dude, in a week, I could start putting product in it. In a month, I'd be like looking like Matt.
I know. I'm tired of the head wave where he flows.
He is. He comes in
flowing.
and he'll do a flip, and I'm like, really? He's like, I don't even notice it. I'm like, yes, you do.
He's been flipping his hair a lot.
He has. I think he doesn't want. So he pretends like he does.
He secretly likes it.
I think he secretly does like it, and that's okay. It works for him.
It looks
gonna look
good.
Weird without it if he shaved his head, because and you can ask Dan this: having no hair, having a bald head, there are people that look good and some people that just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if Matt would rock it.
I don't remember what he looks like without the long hair.
No, I don't either.
It's been so many days now. Well, you didn't even know him before.
No, but I saw him but it was always a little, but now he's let it go, just furl. I mean, it's fantastic. It is crazy. It's just full, oh my God.
And he's going to cut that main stage as soon as Trump starts walking in.
Oh, is that when it starts?
That's what I think we do.
All right, that sounds good. You got to sell it out then.
We got to sell it out. 997WTN.com for tickets. $40, full buffet, drink tickets, and a lot of fun. Reserve seats.
I'm excited. This is my first one there, so this will be pumped.
You're going to be pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect at Super Talk events.
What was your first one?
It was J Street Korean Bar and Grill a couple years ago, but it was just a live broadcast, just regular. But I mean, places slammed.
That's nice.
Slammed, and then we close it out. Are you going to be a stay late, or are you going to?
No, I'll stay late. Even though I got to get up early, like Dan, because I know Dan has to leave early, but that's okay. Remember, everybody, give him a hug. And but I'll stay late. I'll stay till a decent hour. I'm not one of those guys because even though I've got to get up early the next day, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay later.
Yeah,
me and Murphy usually close the things.
Well, yeah,
out.
because you guys should because you come on at 9. He comes on at like whenever he does now in the afternoon at 3, so we can stay late and he can party.
Yep.
But like Thursday night last week, my agent and a couple of my friends were here and we all went out and it was. I'm like, okay, I'll go out to dinner from 7 till 9, but I got to be in bed. And by like midnight, I'm rolling in, And I'm like, I'm exhausted. And I had to get up at like 2:30 and get on the radio.
Yeah,
Friday.
that's insane.
I was exhausted. And then I had to get all the way out to an event at like 10. It was exhausting.
Beast mode Benson.
Beast mode, baby. Then I passed out.
What are you? Where's your focus today? Are you upset that Elon had the audacity to send an email saying what'd you do last week?
No, I'm not upset. You know what? I'm going to be honest. You people out there who are this terrified of this, get over yourself. Same thing, get over yourself, federal workers, that you how somehow living in this dream world where you're entitled to these jobs. You're not. And it's not even whether or not you're good at your job. There may be just 15 of you and you only need 2. And we haven't modernized anything. So everybody, I didn't hear anybody crying over Meta last week. I didn't hear anybody, they let go 1,200 people today from Starbucks. I didn't hear anybody crying about that.
Yeah.
Nobody's out there going, oh my God, we got to save these jobs.
Where was the cries from the Democrat establishment when they were firing people over not taking a COVID jab?
There was none. Or when they wanted to defund the police. Okay, you're fine. Just get rid of the cops. Okay, that's great. I mean, it's so ridiculous. And the whole thing is every time you react, they're going to do something else that's hilarious. And you're going to react to it more. And then you're going to end up like Joy Reid.
Yeah. I love that.
Racist and unemployed.
Who would have thought that Joy Reid would be the first to go?
There's no joy in Trump's world for Reid.
The joy is gone at MSNBC.
She's joyless. That's right.
I mean, you could do so many dumb headlines. But, she's had so many good political takes.
She said some solid ones. My favorite one is if you guys will forego taxes, like for cutting taxes so we can all say the N-word. That was my favorite. I'm like, really? So that's what white Republicans. Did you hear that? If we give up the tax cuts, we can all say the N-word, according to her. God.
Is she authorized to give out the N-word pass?
I don't think she is.
I don't think so either. My favorite was when she said Kamala Harris ran a flawless campaign.
Flawless. And by flawless, it's sunk. You know who else was flawless? The Titanic, up until it wasn't.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.